Today we will start discussing about the new chapter control and coordination. बायोलॉजी में लाइफ प्रोसेसेस के बाद ये हमारा दूसरा चैप्टर है. कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन बहुत अच्छा, बहुत ज़रूरी है हमारी लाइफ के लिए समझना. वैसे भी कि हमारा ब्रेन कैसे काम करता है, सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम कैसे काम करता है. इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर ओवरऑल, और इसमें से क्वेश्चन बड़े स्ट्रेट आते हैं हमको. अगर इसका कंसेप्ट क्लियर है तो ये स्कोरिंग भी बहुत है. तो हम फंडामेंटल समझने की कोशिश करेंगे. बेसिकली जब हम बात करते थे लाइफ प्रोसेसेस की, तो लाइफ प्रोसेसेस में हमारी जो बॉडी में बहुत तरह तरह के मूवमेंट्स हुआ करते थे. अलग अलग तरह के मूवमेंट्स हैं, अलग अलग तरह के मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटीज़ को सपोर्ट करने वाले सिस्टम्स भी थे. सब अपना अपना काम अलग अलग जगह पे कर रहे थे. हमने देखा कि किस तरह से हमको हमारी न्यूट्रिशन की रिक्वायरमेंट, हमारी रेस्पिरेशन की रिक्वायरमेंट, मतलब सेल के अंदर होने वाला एक केमिकल रिएक्शन, उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट को पूरा करने के लिए किस तरह से एक पूरा सिस्टम काम करता है. ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ मटेरियल के लिए एक पूरा सिस्टम काम करता है. एक्सक्रीशन ऑफ वेस्ट के लिए भी पूरा सिस्टम काम करता है. तो ये सारे सिस्टम्स जो हैं ये अपना अपना काम कर रहे हैं अच्छे से. लेकिन हमारे पास में एक और सिस्टम है जो हम लाइफ प्रोसेसेस में तो नहीं पढ़ते, लेकिन दिस सिस्टम कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन जो हमारे बाकी सब सिस्टम्स को कोऑर्डिनेट करने का काम करेगा, सपोर्ट करने का काम करेगा, उसको हम अलग से पढ़ते हैं. कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन सिस्टम हमारी बॉडी के सारे सिस्टम्स की आपसी कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है. हाँ, आपका हार्ट किस तरह से बीट करता है उसके पीछे भी नर्वस सिस्टम का बड़ा रोल है. आपके इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स लाइक किडनीज और लिवर और स्टमक और स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन, ये सब कैसे काम कर रहे हैं. एक्चुअली हम तो कोई किसी तरह से इनको कंट्रोल ही नहीं कर सकते, फिर ये कैसे काम कर रहे हैं उसके लिए भी हमारा सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम रिस्पॉन्सिबल है. बेसिकली there are two types of straight requirements for an animal after some important things taken care by the system. हमने जब internal organs के बारे में, systems के बारे में बात कर ली, तो हमें ये बात समझना चाहिए कि हमारा जो ग्रोथ है, मेंटेनेंस है, ये तो हो रहा है, लेकिन apart from that we require to respond to some changes around us. हमारे सराउंडिंग्स में कुछ चेंजेस हैं जिनको हम डिस्टर्बेंसेस की तरह भी ले सकते हैं, जिनको हम कभी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की तरह से भी ले सकते हैं. लेकिन जो भी है, जो भी चेंजेस हमारे सराउंडिंग्स में हो रहे हैं उनको हमें रिस्पॉन्ड करना पड़ सकता है. या तो अपनी प्रोटेक्शन में या तो अपने एडवांटेज में हम अपना कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा रिस्पॉन्स करें कि हम अपने सराउंडिंग्स में होने वाले चेंजेस के अकॉर्डिंग अपने आप को, अपने सर्वाइवल को सपोर्ट कर सकें. हाँ, द अल्टीमेट गोल ऑफ कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन इज सर्वाइवल ऑफ अ लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म. राइट. हमारे सराउंडिंग्स में बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हो सकती हैं जो हमारे लिए हार्मफुल हो पोटेंशियली, या बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हो सकती हैं जो कि हमारे सर्वाइवल के कंटेक्स्ट से देखा जाए तो एडवांटेजियस हो सकती हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, एक समझिए एक हर्बीवोर है, एक डियर है, वो जंगल में है और ही इज बीइंग अटैक्ड बाय अ लायन. But suddenly his ears, his eyes, and overall he smells something maybe. He gets an idea that he is being attacked by this lion. So he can immediately respond to escape from that particular place. And that way the nervous system, the central nervous system, control and coordination system may protect him from being attacked by that lion. So this is important for his survival. On the other hand, a lion smells something and gets an idea that a deer is nearby, and this gives the lion an opportunity to get his food for the day. So all the living organisms do something every day to survive. Maybe they eat and maybe they protect themselves from their predator. So in all the cases, the control and coordination system helps the living organism to respond to the changes in their surroundings. Some plants grow in response to the changes in their surroundings, like phototropism is the growth movement of a plant in the direction of the sunlight. So that is also a kind of control. So in living organisms, control and coordination can be of two types. One is neural control, and number two, chemical control. Neural control, as the name suggests, the control by the nerves, the nervous system, in which we talk about the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system, that is, consists of all the other nerves which are peripherally located, spread throughout the body. नर्व्स की हेल्प से किस तरह का कंट्रोल होता है उसके बारे में बात होगी. एंड केमिकल कंट्रोल, देयर आर सम केमिकल्स called hormones secreted by endocrine glands. Endocrine glands are those glands in animal's body which do not have ducts. Ductless glands कहते हैं उनको. अगर वो ductless है तो अपना secretion directly blood stream में डालेंगे और इस secretion को hormones बोलते हैं. With the help of hormones, a lot of controls can be executed. तो केमिकल कंट्रोल के बारे में बाद में बात करेंगे. पहले हम न्यूरल कंट्रोल की बात करेंगे, यानी नर्व्स की बात करेंगे. और जब हम नर्वस सिस्टम की बात करते हैं तो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड सम फंडामेंटल्स. टाइम क्लास में आपने सीखा था कि हमारा नर्व टिश्यू एक यूनिट, एक स्पेशली डिजाइन सेल से मिलकर बना है जिसको हम न्यूरॉन बोलते हैं. न्यूरॉन और नर्व सेल, आपने देखा होगा आपकी बुक में भी डायग्राम है इस तरह का. हमने 9th क्लास में भी सीखा था कि दिस इज अ स्पेशली डिजाइन सेल एंड दिस सेल is called single neuron. This is its cell body which we call as cyton. Cell body is known as cyton, dendrite or dendron. These outgrowths are called dendrite. Nucleus, inside it we have ribosomal bodies also, we call them Nissen's granules. यहाँ पे लिखा नहीं है NCERT में लेकिन हमें पता होना चाहिए. Nissen's granules are the ribosomal body, obviously protein synthesis करेंगे. ये axon है जो कि इसका tail है, and nerve ending are there. These are called nerve ending. तो multiple neurons combined together or arranged back to back with each other to form a nerve, right? The requirement of control and coordination is very simple, but we need to understand how it actually works. Like we have disturbances in our surroundings or changes in our surroundings, they are known as stimuli. Stimulus is singular, stimuli plural. Stimuli are the changes around us, and these stimuli are received by the specialized organs called sensory organs. Sensory organs. And the point at which these sensory organs receive these stimuli are called as receptors. Right? So there are 5 sensory organs to receive 5 different types of disturbances or stimuli around us. Stimuli can be light, sound, touch, smell and taste. These are 5 different types of stimuli. You understand that light is received at eyes, sound at ears, touch at skin, smell at nose, and taste at tongue. The receptors which are situated at these sensory organs are called as photoreceptor, phonoreceptor to receive a sound, thigmoreceptor, olfactory receptor. I hope you remember that we used this word olfactory when we were discussing acids, bases and salts in chemistry, and we said that olfactory indicators, those acid base indicators which change their smell when they come in contact with bases. And taste, for taste we have tongue, we call it gustato receptors. So receptors are basically the places from where the nerves originate. These nerves are known as sensory nerves. A sensory nerve originates from a receptor and it is responsible for conduction of impulse. The disturbance which travels inside a nerve is known as impulse. So it is responsible for conduction of an impulse from the sensory organ to the central nervous system, CNS. Central nervous system. Central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. And all the nerves from various parts of the body reach them so that whatever the information is being conducted in the form of an impulse can be analyzed and interpreted and ultimately responded by the central nervous system. So, sensory nerve travels from the sensory organ to the CNS, central nervous system, either spinal cord or brain. And a nerve is formed by various nerve cells called neurons. They arranged something like this, back to back, one neuron, second neuron, third neuron, fourth neuron, fifth neuron. There is always a gap between them. There is always a gap between the two successive neurons. They are arranged like that. The nerve ending of the first neuron will be facing the dendrites of the next neuron. So there will always be a gap between the nerve ending of one neuron and the dendron of the successive neuron. This gap is known as synapse. This is also called as synaptic cleft. A nerve impulse, we said impulse, right? What is impulse? This is the disturbance or the basically we talked about the word stimulus, which was a disturbance outside the body. Like we said, light is a disturbance outside the body. It has to be received by a receptor inside the body. From receptor, there is origination of a nerve known as sensory nerve, and that sensory nerve is also consists of these sensory neurons. So these sensory neurons have a gap between them called synapse. And when the stimulus is received at a receptor, it is immediately converted to impulse, which is the disturbance which travels along the neurons or along the nerve. Right? So this disturbance travels along the nerve all its way to the central nervous system, so that the information can be transferred to the central nervous system, and this information can be analyzed, interpreted, and then ultimately a response can be sent. So after processing the data, after processing the information, after deciding something to do, the brain orders the muscle, that is known as effector. And trained after analysis and interpretation, the another nerve, that is known as motor nerve. Motor nerve travels from the brain or central nervous system to the effector. This effector is actually muscle. This muscle is going to be contract or relax in order to take some action, to respond to the surroundings. So brain is taking the help of the muscles with the help of motor neurons, motor nerves. These responses travel to the muscle. Responses मसल के पास आएंगे, मसल को बताएंगे उनको क्या करना है, and then the relevant organs will come in action. They will do whatever is required to be done. Whatever the order has taken place. What we are saying ki there will be two types of nerves. One is sensory, the other is motor. There can be another neuron here at the central nervous system known as relay. But sometimes the information can be transferred to the effector directly also. So impulse travels all through the sensory neuron. It is the information is analyzed in the brain, and then motor neuron takes the another impulse to the muscle. Here we can see there is a connection between the nerve and the muscle, and we call it neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction. This is a muscle fiber. Muscle fiber will take action accordingly, whatever is required. This is the nerve ending. This is the place where some chemicals can be released from the nerve ending, either inside the synaptic cleft or in the neuromuscular junction. These chemicals are called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters are released between the nerves or between the neurons, so that in the synaptic cleft neurotransmitters are released, so that the impulse can be transferred to the next neuron. With the help of these neurotransmitters, since we have said the neurons are not physically in contact with each other, there is always a gap. We named this gap as synapse or synaptic cleft. In the synaptic cleft, the neurotransmitters are released when an impulse travels from one neuron to the next neuron. So these chemicals called neurotransmitters are responsible for transferring the information or impulse from one neuron to the next neuron. This system regularly goes on. Right? So in this chapter we are going to understand about the nervous system, various parts of it, very specifically the central organ, various actions like nervous reflex action we will discuss, human brain, various parts of human brain, the structure of human brain, the cross section, various regions inside the human brain and their functions, very important, right? So these are basically the introduction of control and coordination chapter. इसको थोड़ा सा रीडिंग करो आज, हाँ, वर्ड बाय वर्ड पढ़ो क्या लिखा हुआ है, एटलीस्ट अप टू पेज नंबर 119 देखो, 119 तक आपको थोड़ा सा 118 तक देख लो। रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन के को एक बार छोड़ दो, कल मैं बताऊंगा इसके बारे में, वी विल स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट इट, देन वी विल टॉक अबाउट द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ब्रेन। तो 116 तक देख लो आप, रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन तक, जिससे कि आपको कल की क्लास में अच्छे से बातें समझ में आ जाए जल्दी से, है ना। ध्यान से पढ़ना, और कोई बात समझ में नहीं आए, कोई टर्म समझ में नहीं आए तो जस्ट मैसेज मी और कॉल मी, राइट। थैंक यू।